We thought we should give you a moment of breaking news, or at least developing stories that are unfolding elsewhere in the country. For one, truck drivers at the Lebombo Border post in Mpumalanga are raising their concerns about operations there and long queues that have been sustained for a while. You might remember that post had to be closed intermittently by the Border Management Authority due to post-election violence taking place on the Mozambican side of that barrier. Watching developments for us is SABC News reporter Nhlanhla Jele, who joins us now live. And Nhlanhla, frustrations boiling over there.
Good morning, Ayanda, to you and to the viewers at home. Indeed, frustrations are boiling over here. As you can see behind me, truck drivers were here earlier on, just trying to bring their frustrations to the police in South Africa to say, allow us to cross to Mozambique. Some say they've been here for over a week, Ayanda. They're concerned about their safety, obviously. They're concerned about the diesel that is being stolen. Of course, when trucks are queuing here for more than a week, they are being targeted by criminals, who are trying to take their chances. They're concerned. They have no food, they have no water, they have no place to bath. But joining me just now is one of the truck drivers, Ubisi, just to speak to us about some of their concerns. Dino, thank you so much for your time and for joining us at the SABC. Seneviki lonke nihleli la. Ngichazele nje ukuthi benizele ukuzoyenza la egate nizama ukuwela ngale. Ni understand ukuthi nifuna ukuhamba and nithi anisafuna ukubuyela for now until kuphela le strike lesenzakala eMozambique.
Yeah, Tina. Nyalo sicele ukuhamba ngisho bavule konke bathi pheli esodwa selapha amatraka laba mahamba lamateksi ahamba thina sihlele lapha abasivulile wabona sesihlethe 1 week lapha sekuphele kudle kuphele konke asinalutho lapha manje sacela ama government South Africa and Mozambique government basivulele noma sithatha le magoods lapha simayekela lapha kilometer 4 thina sihamba emakhaya because thina siyahlupheka asigezi asenze uyashisa bona lokho lapha konke lapha akuna ma toilet akuna konke siphila njalo siphila njani siphila njani sicela basivulele sindlule noma singangeni noma umuntu munye uhlele ekhaya akuna inkinga
manje azoba safe lama truck mawasela lapha kilometer 4
asazi lapho asazi because laba bathi lama truck yasama minister konke thina mina angise minister mina ngidrive ngicela imisebenzi senicela isebenza ngitodlisa labantwana bami angisa minister lama truck futhi basitshela ukuthi le truck yami ya minister mina ngiyazi ukuthi ya minister ngibone emunye mina unifakela ke le mali ngitodla kuphela wabona ke yeah
Siyabonga bhuti Ayanda Ubisi saying to us that they've been here for a week, they don't have food, there's no toilet, there's no place to take a bath. They're also saying that at least let them pass through so that they can at least leave their trucks at kilometer 4 in Mozambique, and then from there they're not bothered anymore as to what happens to those trucks, because at least for them Ayanda they'll also be home. Many of these truck drivers Ayanda are Mozambican nationals who are also trying to get back home. You can imagine being here for almost a week, no water, no food, and no bathing, and then now they are trying to cross to Mozambique. But you were telling us earlier on ngale issue le yala truck law. Just sikhulumisa nawe some more about ukuthi nifila njani ngokuhlela la iviki lonke nokuthi masifika ngale ku kilometer 4 nifuna ukubona kwenzakalani.
Thina sazi thina ukuthi kwenzakalani ngoba bathi bona ngala kilometer 4 ukuthi ba safety ngoba asekhalabo ansinyalo babe bathuthurile lapha bafeke emasosha thina sicele ukuthi basikhulule simuke endlini ifamily yethu yasifuna nathi ukuthi siyoba right.
Sebong, as you have heard Ayanda, this truck driver saying they are at least pleading with the governments both in South Africa and in Mozambique just to allow them to pass through, to be processed on this side and in the Mozambican side, so they can at least park their trucks at kilometer 4, where we do know Ayanda that has been a targeted point since the protest action has been started. But we also understand that soldiers Ayanda have been deployed at kilometer 4 on the Mozambican side just to ensure that the protest action doesn't spill over to the border gate and affecting South Africa as well. If you remember Ayanda, a couple couple of weeks ago, the border post was closed on the Mozambican side because the immigration office was satellite. However, soldiers have since been deployed on that, and they're also pleading that they be let through so that they can also go home. Ayanda, if you can just see around us, the border is much more active this morning than it was yesterday. This is because the 4x4, which they talk about in Mozambique, has actually stopped. The action started last week Wednesday until yesterday. From this morning on, we understand that there is no protest action happening, hence the truck drivers here are up in arms, Ayanda, wanting to be allowed to cross through. Ayanda, we are still going to keep tabs on the developments as to what is happening here at the port of entry. But as you can see, Mzoliso is showing you people. Yesterday it was quite empty here at the border, but people are taking advantage of the fact that the 4x4, which the 7-day protest action that is usually planned in Mozambique, has come to an end for now. And some of the truck drivers are saying it might continue again on Sunday, which is why they are fighting and pushing that they be let through to cross to Mozambique this morning. Ayanda?
And Nhlanhla, before we let you go, the Home Affairs Minister in Leon Schreiber was there yesterday, I understand. What are officials saying about when they'll finally be able to process the trucks there, given the fact, as you've described, that there's a bit of normalcy finally?
Indeed, Ayanda, you correctly put it. The Minister of Home Affairs was here yesterday. He actually launched some devices or technological devices that are going to assist Border Management Authority and law enforcement officials here at the border and other borders, of course, around the country, just to be able to track criminal activities that are happening. Some of those devices include a drone, Ayanda, that is able to show what is happening around the border, that is going to help the soldiers that are on the borderline. There were also body cams that are launched as well, that are going to be worn by these soldiers so they're able to communicate. He also said to us that talks are still ongoing to ensure that it's safe for people to cross. We do understand that people, although yesterday people were allowed to cross yesterday, however, it was not a lot of them. This because of the 4x4 protest action, which I mentioned earlier. However, that 4x4 action came to a stop yesterday evening, but this morning people are allowed to go through. He said that talks are still ongoing because they understand that it's not quite safe for trucks to cross at this point. We also know that the BMA acting commissioner earlier on in the week said that the trucks find themselves stuck, Ayanda, on the other side in Bowani, where they are used as ways to block the road, and they're being looted once they get to Mozambique. So that is why they are not being allowed to cross. The minister, Ayanda, as I said, did say that they are having bilateral talks with the Mozambican counterpart just to ensure that it's safe. He said that more than anything, despite the goods, despite the economy, what is important for them, even as a department, is to ensure the safety of the people who are crossing. He also advised tourists and people who want to cross to Mozambique for leisure to put off their plans until the situation has been sorted or is managed. And it's important to note that the reason why the border is closed, as the BMA acting commissioner told us, is that it's not because of the South African side, but it's because the Mozambican authorities are the ones that are advising to say, please hold the trucks and don't allow them to come through because of what they are seeing that side that is happening. What we're going to do, Ayanda, is we're going to try and find out from the Border Management Authority this morning as to, is it safe for the trucks to cross and why are they not letting them through, if what the truck drivers are saying is true. Remember, most of these truck drivers are under Mozambican nationals. Of course, they're speaking to their family members about what is currently happening in Mozambique. So I'm guessing that is why they are all up in arms and say they want to go home. Either that or they turn back, and it doesn't look like their bosses are allowing them to turn back their trucks with the goods that are in them. Hence, they're still stuck at the border. Ayanda?
All right, Nhlanhla Jele, thanks very much indeed for that update. Nhlanhla reporting live from the Lebombo Border post between Mozambique and South Africa. Certainly a story worth telling, seemingly far from over.